Hang on a moment. Hang on a moment. Hang on a moment. Hang on a moment. Paul was in full voice here about a story that he needs to tell to the YouTubers. So, talk about the Gale storeroom story.
You said the name. I wasn't gonna
Well,
say
you
the
told
name.
you said the name several times yesterday.
But I wasn't.
I did. Honey, that cat's out of the bag. So let's carry on. Okay.
We got a supply load in today. Oh, excuse me a sec. And the way I do it, I go by room to room, floor to floor. I'll do 2 floors at a time. 3 possibly. But what I do is I write the floor number on the boxes of where the stuff's going. Where so-called supervisor doesn't not do that. She'll load anything and try to get as much of anything and everything on a cart, luggage cart. She'll just run it up. And what she does, she'll go to one floor. For example, she starts at the top floor. She just opens the supply room door and she just throws the stuff off the cart and into the room, all over the floor. I don't care what it is. And that's the way she leaves it. She thinks that is so much faster and more expedient.
Well, of course it's faster.
Yeah, well, the problemo is the housekeepers will not pick the stuff up and put it on the shelves where it belongs. They'll leave it all over the floor.
Well, I was going to say
and
something
what I
awful.
do,
I won't say that.
what I do, I put the floor number on each of the boxes of where the stuff's supposed to go. That nicks her out.
Perhaps you should develop a code where you have different numbers for different floors, even though they're not corresponding to the same floor. So you have like a code, like in the World War II code breakers.
Yeah, well, I'd like for the stuff to come in sometime on her day off, so I can do it my way and get it done.
I think ideally it ought to come in when you're not there at all and see how it works out.
That's how it works out when I'm not there. Oh. The shit is thrown all over the floor. It's not shelved where it belongs. I mean, the housekeepers will go into the supply room.
And yet you see how we live here.
To get ready for the day. And they'll just rip the boxes open, lying on the floor where they landed from her. And they stay there. Then when I come back from day off, I put everything on the shelves where they belong. So there's not a mess in the room. And they don't look like crap. So today it was ticking her off. She was saying, this is going to take you all damn day. Because I was doing 2 floors at a time. Plus, I had made a list of what everybody needed. She did too, only she did it like a week ago. And she only ordered partially of what they actually need.
She's an historian.
So
she's appreciating the past.
A lot of people didn't get what the heck, what they need to continue until the 1st of August. They're going to be short as the dickens, and I'm going to be running around and shifting stuff all over the place to keep everybody flowing, as usual.
Well, that's it. I mean, anybody who's really good at their job knows that they have to accommodate all the nonsense that goes on around them that's incompetent.
I mean, if there's a half a box, like a half and 3/4, okay, on any given floor, order it. And like if they're totally out of something, especially order it for that floor.
Well, yeah, unless you want people to go, scampering down the stairs to go ferreting about on the downstairs floors or the upstairs,
having to run up and down in the elevator, going to different floors,
foraging,
find
like often
foraging for what they need.
I would go out foraging, very early, sort of like around 2 or 3 in the morning, when people had left their room service trays out, and that way I could forage for food that looked relatively useful and edible, when I was in Chicago. It worked very well. I generally fed myself. I mean, I barely ever had to buy food in Chicago.
Especially staying in those cash houses. They're kind of expensive.
What? Oh, the Holiday Inn? No, it was very cheap. It was like $105 a day. For Chicago, that's relatively cheap. But what I like to do is I like to go down by Morton Steakhouse, around 11:30 or 12 at night, and they would put all of their scraps out. Now, these things hadn't been sitting out there long, and they hadn't been worked over by the homeless folks. And I
beat?
Yes, I beat the homeless folks. I beat the homeless folks. I was eating prime rib and onion rings. Oh, it was great.
You used to
baked potatoes.
Hello. He used to do this in the hospital.
Oh, well, yeah.
You go through the can.
Actually.
And stuff. In the hospital.
I had.
In the break room. And then you would also run around on the floors and check out the lunch and dinner.
Oh, you got to.
For what people.
Well, when they die, yeah, when they die, when they
have a whole tray of food, he'd get it.
When they die, they don't cancel their tray. They sometimes do, but I always smoosh with the guys, the orderlies and things, and I shouldn't say things. They're not things; they're human beings. But they took good care of me, and
they let him know where a hot tray of food was.
Well, no, what happened? Yeah, well, no, I mean when there was a code, and it was near lunchtime, these guys would give me a buzz on my beeper, 4301. Oh, that wasn't 4301. That's the emergency room. God knows you never wanted to get that, but Dr. Cozy, Dr. Joe Cozy.
That's an example.
Well, anyway, and then I'd scamper up around and get the food. It was great. Oh, it was wonderful. These guys took good care of me. One of these guys invited me. He wanted me to be an usher at his wedding. Well, unfortunately, I couldn't do that, but for that time, I sent him a $50 wedding check, which that's 1975. That's like almost a $300 check today. This guy was a good hard worker.
Oh, I forget who that was.
Well, I never told you his name. I forget his name, but he was a damn good hard worker. Yeah, he was a damn good hard worker, and yeah, kind of had the hots for myself, but you can't betray that, when you're in a professional setting, particularly when you're a closeted so-and-so like I was then.
All right.
Well, we've got a bit far afield here, haven't we? All of a sudden, yeah. Oh well, since we're trending in that way, and we can get back to like the hotel here. The Daily Mail today had this article about a country singer named Steve Grand.
He's a hot.
Well, yes. Yes. I mean, that's part of the whole appeal. But Uh, he's decided, and this is in the country music business, to come out as a gay man and sing songs about being gay. The one he had most recently up on YouTube, which was also linked into the Daily Mail site, was this thing where he's at a big 4th of July party, and he's eyeballing this guy across the fire, and they go out and they swim naked in a lake and they kiss, and guy, the guy seemed to be very friendly before, but then all of a sudden decides,
After the kiss, the guy backs up.
Yeah, but
then he sort of comes back.
Well, in the happy ending, sort of quote, happy quote ending. It wasn't like the guy then just punched the crap out of him, which would have been the standard ending to most videos here, say, 3 or 4 years ago, particularly a country video.
Oh, they stayed friends.
Well, I'm going to tell you this straight guy's woman ain't going to let him stay friends with this man.
Well, especially if they get married, because straight women don't allow that.
Well, they don't. No, they don't. No. Well, anyway, so it's an interesting song. It's a pretty bad song, but it's an interesting idea. And this guy's basically said he can't live a lie anymore, and well, good for him, because we all know what living a lie is like. Well, not everybody knows what living a lie is like, but I sure know. And sometimes it drives you to nearly killing yourself. Well, anyway, so there was that. Now, so we have the hotel.
Oh, that place was really empty today.
Well, it's Monday. I mean, that's always a slow day, isn't it?
Oh, it especially was today.
Well, there was
like,
they want you to be able to clean it.
3, 4 families that came down for breakfast, and that was it.
Well, so they didn't cook 18 pounds of sausage and.
No, you'd walk around the place.
Well,
you didn't see anybody, or
that's kind of rough for us.
Run into anybody.
That's kind of rough. That's kind of rough for us in terms of supplying ourselves, isn't it?
That was one old hole of hogs. I'm telling you, that place was hollow.
Well,
you didn't run into anybody.
Now, to sort of speed this along, and that's nothing against Paul's story, but this morning we were having massive rains, huge amounts of lightning. Fortunately, the electricity, did not go out. Lots of thunder. The roof, our metal roof was rattling, and but no damage was done. Didn't look like any trees were down. Now the creek was way up this morning, but not up over the banks up, but one more couple of millimeters up, it would have been over the banks. It's back down now, so so it was kind of an acute pulse, coming out of Allen Creek, pulse down the creek from the dam, pulse, and
our island looked like a bayou, where they used to motor around.
Oh yeah, well
with
Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds, and one of those crocodile things.
Well, we didn't see Burt Reynolds, but
where they had,
all
the old moss trees are.
It does look very bayou.
That's what it looked like.
Well, we've got our blessed sycamores.
We're not that for work.
So today I had some tasks to do. None of them particularly onerous, but tasks nonetheless that required me to, bestir myself and shave and, dress so I didn't look like some sort of, lowlife. And so I had to go and pay the extortionate, confiscatory real estate taxes up here, levied on me by the Olentangy School District, the Orange Township, and the Orange Township Park System, Orange Township Fire Department, the Retard Board of Delaware County, the Library of Delaware County, and the General Tax Levy of Delaware County. This is grotesquely...
listed all the golden palaces of Delaware.
This is grotesquely unjust. I didn't say unfair. Well, it's sort of the same thing. It's unjust. It's unjust. It's unjust. And I don't mind paying a certain amount of stuff for basic, roads and sheriff and having a court system and
fire.
A basic school and a basic fire. But we don't need all this, and we certainly don't need these parks. If you want to have these parks, I love parks, but do it out of the inside millage. Do it out of the inside millage. I don't need to be paying for a swimming pool up there for these suburban people that just think that this is just a cat's ass and how to, make everybody pay for how they live. I don't like that.
The floor in front of the reception desk in the principal office should not cost $500,000.
Well, it's a terrazzo. I mean, they put terrazzo floors in the school. They didn't put just like concrete with some tile on it. They put terrazzo tile. I mean, they put terrazzo floors in. And these are they have 2 auditoriums, 2 gymnasiums. Give me a break. Come on. They've got a full set of athletic fields at every school. Can't they bust some of these guys around? Come on, folks.
They had to buy a special fire truck.
I'm going to tell you right now.
So that they could reach up and go across the roof of the one-floor building.
Yeah.
So in case there's a fire in the center of a one-floor building, they could reach it.
Yes, one-floor building.
This sucker has got to go at least 100 and some odd.
Yeah, it's like 120 feet, 130 feet, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Halfway across to the center of the building.
Well, see, come on.
That's bullshit.
Well, yes, it is. And it's and all these things pass by like, 200 votes out of 35,000 people. I mean, this is, real estate taxes are the most unfair taxes out there beyond a certain basic level of services, police, fire, roads, court system, basic schools.
Gone out the window.
Well, so that's my little beef about that. So I went up and I paid those, and I was very grateful to God too that I was able to do it. Renting my property again for another 6 months from the county and school district, and so then I had this piece of paper I had to have notarized. Nationwide Insurance, in its wisdom, a couple of years ago, canceled my property insurance on my corner property. Well, you've seen the corner property. That's the one just got broken into here a while back.
Yeah, and they ripped in the door.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Nationwide Insurance canceled that insurance. So if the tree falls on or it burns down, Zippo money to me. I won't say it's fine, but that's the way it is. And Nationwide is on your side. Now,
remember to smile about that.
So, see, my dad had his insurance with Nationwide from the get-go when they first founded the company. And So benighted. And I always thought that you had to sort of be born into one of these policies. And I ran into an ex-Nationwide vice president a few years back when I was taking one of these. It was a program related to the Episcopal Church, and I said, is this sort of do you have to sort of be born into a nationwide policy? At the same time, though, they were starting this new ad campaign about, they're actually advertising on TV during golf tournaments. Nationwide never advertised, before. And I said, what's the deal here? And he said, well, I said, it seems like you'd be born into the company. And he said, that's true. He says, we never went out of our way to seek new customers, but then we realized that we weren't. Our customer base is dying off, and we're sort of high priced, so we had to start. So he was very open about how they had to sort of change their strategy on this kind of thing. Well, be that as it may, they canceled this policy, but interestingly enough, a subsidiarily owned company of Nationwide out in Arizona was very willing to sell me a liability only policy, not property, not like if a tree falls on it, but just if somebody wanders in and breaks his leg and decides to sue me.
The thieves are safe.
Well, yes, if the thieves had been injured while they were stealing our stuff and sued me, then I would have, assuming the insurance policy would have actually done what it said. But, most insurance policies, the insurance company's policy is deny, delay, defend. Insurance is legalized fraud, guys. Legalized fraud. Anyway, assuming that they would have done that, then I would have been, covered. Anyway, that's, you just can't go bare. I mean, you can't. I view this as asset management, and so anyway, so I paid for this policy, but since it's an out-of-state policy and it's not covered by the Ohio Insurance Fund.
Oh,
are you all following this, guys? In this captivating video, I have to get a yes. See, Paul's doing the right thing on this.
This will screw you in the ear.
Well, that would be more pleasant than just Anyway, so you have to get this statement that's notarized that says you understand that you're not covered by the Ohio Insurance Fund, and if you're worked over, then you're worked over. So every year you have to do this. It's not like you can notarize it once and say, oh, I understand I'm going to be worked over. It's like,
it's a shaft job every year.
Well, that's right. You have to affirm, that
you're still here.
That you understand you're being shafted every year. So I went to the bank and got the notary to, and it's very kind of them. I mean, they notarized this without charging anything. And actually, the same guy that helped me last year helped me today. And you might remember a video I made a few months back, or several weeks back anyway, where a fellow at the drive-thru sort of chatted me up. Well, the same guy chatted me up today because I got some cash. I rarely get, but I got some cash. This guy's just chatting me up. I thought I was at a gay bar.
He might be from back here at the woods, because there was a guy back there that always chatted me up. Because
see, a tall, thin guy.
Yeah,
with like a bad shave.
Yeah, because he always...
Is his name Matt?
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
He always chatted me up and everything. And he got to where like usually to get a cash check or whatever, you'd have to send in your driver's
That's
license.
not too bad, but he's very tall. I mean, he's much taller than me.
And
That's not bad.
he
That's just what
he told me one time, he says, you don't ever need to send in your driver's license anymore.
He passed the wedding ring test.
He said, because I know exactly who you are and where you live.
No, well,
that he was transferred because I incidentally went to the bank over on 23 by Golden Eagle, and there he was.
Well, indeed, there he was today too.
And I walked in there and I said, "Hey, Blue Eyes." There was some reason I had to stop and do something, and
they've got to have told them to chat people up, though. I mean, I can't imagine just an employee doing that normally. On the other hand, if they haven't,
hey, you're supposed to be nice and polite and sociable and keep the customers coming back.
Well, I mean, I don't. I mean, I don't want to come back to a bank more often than I have to. I mean, I try to keep those visits to a minimum.
Yeah, I try to do only 1 week, 1 day.
Well, I mean, it's like the pest house. Nothing good happens to you at the pest house. Nothing good happens to you necessarily at the bank. I mean, so a lot of stuff that isn't bad happens to you at the bank, but not. I can't say that you're ever going to get a good experience at a bank. You have a neutral experience at best at a bank.
Well, I like when you go and you write a check and you put cash, and then they'll ask you, do you want this cashed? Oh, of course you want it cashed.
Well, no,
cash.
Well, no, I explained to Matt, I wanted, so many 20s or so many 5s and so many 10s. And see, after I fulfill my church, pledge obligation by check, I just give them $5 a week.
Yeah, they want to know what denominations I want and how I want the money back. I tell them.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, on the off chance I go out and, whatever, end up going to a Subway or something.
They want to know if I want to deposit the money into my savings account.
No, you don't have a savings account, do you?
Not at the bank.
Oh, that's right. You're in the.
I do at
the other area, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, yeah. Well, anyway. So now we were you talked a bit about your day at the hotel,
right?
Oh, well, so then I did my errand. I ran all this stuff over, and then I took the notarized paper over to the insurance guy, and that was happy, and off I went, and then I came back home, and so we all had a happy ending.
And we all were safe.
Well, see, yes, and we're safe, and then
we're all back home together.
I had I'm going to try to keep this brief, but I have to say it. I just have to say it. Well, no, maybe I better not. Yeah, I got to say it. I called my ex-wife. We started out having a very reasonable discussion. No, we did. No, I know. It was very nice, and
that's always the way it starts.
Well, no, not always, but today, it did, and well, first of all, we covered the faux medical news in the Dispatch, Columbus Dispatch. Well, apparently the current thesis today in the Columbus Dispatch was, kids are just becoming beset by ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. Well, I don't know. Maybe some of them actually are. I don't think they are. I think there are probably a number of kids that are getting various forms of colitis that are not ulcerative colitis, and
Is that due to the eating habit?
I don't want to get into it. I mean, I don't want to. I do not want to do a.
Brought it up.
No, I understand. I do not want to. No, see, that's her thesis. It's all. It's what they're eating. They're eating it. No, it's not. That's not. Yeah, and there may well be new forms of colitis emerging. There may well be. But the idea that, all of a sudden you're having, poof, this epidemic of, 4 to 12-year-olds with ulcerative, no.
So it's hereditary bad health.
Well, no. I mean, so see, there's all these assumptions about mechanisms that there's not even enough evidence to form a hypothesis yet. So, it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And then, okay, so I was able to get her off that. So I mentioned that. Oh, then she got on the Snowden fellows case, and I need to move along. But the Snowden fellows thing, and I said, well. I'd done this thing in the Wall Street Journal where I said, that just sounds like the Philip Nolan short story in 1917. Well, the Edward Everett Hale short story in 1917. And, and he quoted the Sir Walter Scott poem, A Man Without a Country. And, breathes there a man of soul so dead, who never to himself has said, this is my own, my native land. And, well, of course, then we get the reductio ad absurdum. Oh, well, so you're saying that, everybody's going to go out and die for their country. I said, no, I didn't say that. Hey, so you say that, nobody's allowed to say anything about the government. I said, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that either, nor do I think that. It's just, and so you get this continual barrage, and then she stepped on her dick. She started talking about guys that had volunteered to do this, and they're just too fucking stupid, and that's sort of click on that one. And oh man, just oh shit. Yeah, that's sort of what I said. Oh no, Paul's responding to the current rain on that one, but it's just so sad. It's so sad when people are intellectually dishonest in their discussions, and let alone holding egregious attitudes toward people that have volunteered to, kill the people who are trying to kill us. And that's just a fact of the matter on that one. Well, I give my blessed, gracious thanks to the people who have volunteered to kill those who are trying to kill us, until we can have the new creation and the kingdom of God on earth here. Alrighty now, YouTubers. I'm going to say bye-bye. It's been longer than I thought, but it's always longer than I think, isn't it? Alrighty. Bye-bye.